Hey, it's Dr. Brenda, founder of the Gutsy Women Club, where women dare to dream and take bold actions to follow their heart's journey. I am coming at you from the Oregon coast. It is cold again. It's only been in the 50s, and that is true for today. So I hope you can manage. I hope I can manage while I walk and talk. It's too cold to be hanging out in one place, so I'm gonna walk. Hey, please subscribe below. So this is my first episode of what's going to be Gutsy Women Wednesdays. Every Wednesday I'm going to give you a new YouTube video and talk about, some of the ingredients in the Gutsy Women Club, and just talk about being gutsy and what it's like to be out on your own, or just, going after life. And that's really what it's about, is going after life. So what does it mean to be gutsy? I mean, if you look in a dictionary, it's, synonyms are bold and audacious and brave. Now, in real life, gutsy means something different to every woman. And over the course of my life, I've run into some incredibly gutsy women. And let me share some of those stories with you. Because a lot of times it is the adversity of life, it is the horrors of life that push women, push people into being bold and being gutsy. And so that's true with many of the women that I have met over the years. And I'm going to start back with a couple of women that I recall interviewing as part of my position as a researcher. I was studying the grants to encourage arrest policies, part of the Violence Against Women Act, and so I traveled and I did site visits, and I met some amazing women, women who had overcome incredible diversity. So I have come to a gap on my trails. I'm going to turn around so you can see this. It's not too windy. Wow, I can manage that. I can definitely manage that. I think I'm going to put you down so I can finish this and you can see the ocean behind me. How would that be? So I was in New Hampshire. It was Manchester, New Hampshire, and interviewing the prosecutor. So they had started to initiate the arrest policies program. So when you commit a crime against domestic violence crime, it's a crime against the state. It's the state that prosecutes. And you can do that with or without the cooperation of the victim. So this was a woman that I was introduced to, whose husband had played Russian roulette. Put a gun to her head, spun the cylinder, whatever it's called, and SWAT team had been called out. She had spent years with this abusive husband, and I was talking to her at the very end. So they prosecuted the case. He was sent to prison. She protested the prosecution. She did not want to participate. Now she's got some space. He's no longer there. And she has become an advocate for domestic violence survivors. Just this amazing story of bouncing back from something horrible. And the next woman who I remember so vividly is a woman I met in Oakland, California. And she was the person who could pull all of the regional police prosecutors, the advocates all together in the Bay Area. People had tried it, people had failed. She was able to do that. And as I interviewed her, I knew exactly why, because I'm going to tell you what, I've interviewed a lot of people. I was drained after that interview because she had so much energy, and it was like she just lived off of everybody else's energy. She just took my energy. She took everybody's energy. She bottled that energy up. But her story is one of horror as well, because she was in a domestic violence relationship and her husband killed her children. And she came back to be this force in the community. And I mean, I don't think there's much more that you can do that shows how brave and gutsy you can be. I mean, those are incredible stories. I've talked about the woman I met in the Virgin Islands several times, and so she's someone who I think about too, who after 50 years of marriage had left her husband and was off in the Virgin Islands doing volunteer work for a conservation organization, still living her life, realizing that she wasn't going to live out her dreams if she stayed in that relationship. So adversity is what shapes so many gutsy actions. But don't think, I'm in an RV. That doesn't mean you have to be in an RV. I love to travel. So that is my version of my dream life. And I have to be gutsy. I have to be gutsy because I had to learn how to drive and hitch up and back up, and I'm on my own a lot. Absolutely, I had to be gutsy. I'm still gutsy. I will always be gutsy. But your dream might be something very different. So years ago, I had an adjunct faculty position, and what surprised me were the high number of women in my class who were returning students. Women oftentimes in their 40s and 50s. And I admired that so much that, they came to a point in their lives and they're like, look, if I want to get ahead, if I really want to do something, I've got to go back and get an education. That is gutsy. I think about my mom. She was afraid of water her entire life. At the age of 70, she decided, you know what, I'm going to learn how to swim. So she signed up at the local pool, and she had this bet with someone at the bank who said, you're never going to be able to swim. You're too old to learn how to swim. She learned how to swim. She still swims today. She's 88 years old. You're never too old. So it is about doing things despite the fact that people tell you not to. It's about still having those dreams and taking that step to get the education, to get the qualifications, to get what it is you need to really chase after those dreams. It is about surviving horror, surviving tragedy. When I interviewed women for the Gutsy Women interviews, I mean, a lot of them are domestic violence survivors, and some have dealt with, post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, and they're still out there doing what they can do. One of the pieces of being a Gutsy woman that I don't talk about, that very people talk about, is knowing your limits. So, you got to get out of your comfort zone, but you also have to take care of yourself. So if you've got post-traumatic stress disorder, for instance, you have to be aware of how that's impacting you and what your triggers are and what's setting you off, and slow down and back away and renew yourself, because you can't be gutsy every day. There are going to be days when your gutsy is, I'm just going to get out of bed today. That's all you can ask for out of being gutsy. So I started the Gutsy Women Club, and I've said this before, but it's like, people kept saying, wow, you're out on your own, you're doing all this all by yourself. I said, yeah. They'd say, well, you're really gutsy. I'd love to do that. Well, I started the Gutsy Women Club for two reasons. One is just to connect women, so what I hope is that we can build accountability partners, and you can connect with other women who are taking gutsy actions. But the other reason is because I feel like it's a system that I can actually teach you how to become gutsy, it's a step-by-step process, and you get more and more confidence. It's a matter of taking those actions. And when you do that in a safe environment, which the Gutsy Women Club is, when you do that in a safe environment and you've got other people to support you, you can do it. And so just give yourself a break, but also be aware of how you hold yourself back, how your mindset might say, I'm not good enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not strong enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not rich enough. I am not enough. You are enough. You are enough. It's just stop the mindset, take a look at the big picture, begin to move forward on your dream. So I'm going to invite you again to join us at the Gutsy Women Club, gutsywomen.club. And so check out my YouTube every Wednesday. I'm going to talk about something a little different and talk about some of the things that we do and ways that we can become the people we want to be, the women who are other people admire and who go after their dreams. You guys have a great day, and we'll see you later. So, yeah, the view's not bad. Take care.